Hello troops, Spectre N7 here. This is mostly an instructional video for Adam, who is the client I'm building this blaster for. Basically this is a remote box for a Proton pack build. The way this is designed to operate is to allow remote switches such as this byte switch and this pedal switch to operate the Jupiter blaster. Now this Jupiter has come from out of Darts. They got it to us in an incredibly quick time, so thank you Luke and team for that. But the way that this works is coming out of the back of the Jupiter, in addition to the battery component, we also have these two control wires. Now for the purposes of this demonstration I have these little jumper cables. The actual cables for the system will be much longer when we actually plug it all in, but the way that this is going to work is we plug these little XT30 connectors. Now it's fine for these to be XT30 because they're only taking signal current. There's no actual current going through here. So these two jumper cables go into here like so, and the power cable is going, which will go through this box as well, all the way from the Proton pack, goes into here. And also contained within here is a fuse system from UK Nerf War, which is one of their spring-loaded fuse systems. And the way that that works is it just means that if there is a jam or we start to get large sort of currents through here that we shouldn't be, the fuse will go rather than any other important components, and the fuse can just be replaced. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to plug this battery directly into the back of the box, and then we plug the byte switch into this one, into this connector, which is for the pusher motor, and we plug the pedal into the second connector, which is for the rev. Now when we turn this on, this is the master arm switch. Nothing works without that being on. Now that's turned on, we can see the voltage output of the system. Now the important thing to bear in mind is that one of the reasons why it's been done in this particular way is so that the Jupiter itself continues to operate. So we can actually take this entire box out of the equation, and it can just be run by anybody else. So if he wants to give the blaster to his son or to somebody else within his sort of nerfing circle, he has that option to do so. But more importantly, this gives the client the option to press this button. Now this is a pedal switch from a guitar board, in fact, and this is a latching switch. So when it's pressed, and you press it again, it turns off. And then once this is pressed, this also works. Now, in order to protect the system, there are MOSFETs in here to kind of keep the high voltage and the high amperage currents out of these two switches, because in a nice possible way I don't know the ratings of them. And also, this is a byte switch. This is going to go into the client's mouth. We don't want to put high current through there. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but that is actually the N20 pusher motor going at that point. Now there is one small flaw with this, in that the Jupiter normally has motor braking on the pusher motor, which means that balls don't go into the flywheels when the pusher's not going. But because of the nature of how I expect the client to operate this, the chances are there's never going to be a circumstance where the flywheels aren't going when this is pressed. So hopefully that should do it. Now in the event of a catastrophic failure, all we need to do is switch this, and again the whole system is dead. So that's the basic instructional operation for the remote box, and explains kind of how it works and why it's been designed in the way it's been designed. I still have to build the actual Proton pack to go with it, but that is actually relatively straightforward because the Proton pack itself hasn't had to be modified in any way, shape or form in order for this to work. Now the Jupiter has had to be modified. It runs on the negative line now rather than the positive line, which is how Luke designed it. But It honestly doesn't make a huge amount of difference. It's just because in order for the negative line MOSFETs to work, the switches have to go onto the negative line rather than the positive line. But we now have a Jupiter Blaster that works both with its normal manual controls and with the additional remote controls. Everything's contained in this little 3D printed box, and hopefully this should be everything the client needs. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Spectrum 7. I need to go and finish building this Proton pack, so I should go.